Well, hello, this is Rich Morrison, and welcome to my latest edition of the Thinking Cap, where today we're going to recap the reports that just came out. We had the prospective plantings report. We had the March 1 grain stocks report. By the way, it is Sweet 16 day, so go Fighting Illini. So we'll see what happens tonight. But before I get into the reports, let's just take a quick look at the market. I can tell you what's trading right now. Corn's up 15, soybeans down 3 to 4. We've got the wheat market very mixed. Chicago wheat up, but Minneapolis wheat lower. And the cotton market just a few cents, a few fractions of a cent higher. Livestock markets, the cattle market a little higher. Hogs and feeders mixed in the early trade. So let's talk about the report, and let's talk about what the numbers showed us this morning and why the corn market's doing what it's doing right now. And the one thing I would tell you is we've got a strong history of dynamic markets following this report. You can see what's happened over the last 10 years. A year ago, you had a big run in the bean market. The year before that, we had a huge rally in corn, lower soybeans. The year before that, limit higher in both. So this is a big day, and the reactions are often swift. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that this is a prospective plantings report. These are called intentions for a reason. They're intentions as of March 1. Doesn't always end up that way. A lot of times, for example, a year ago when we had pretty good weather throughout the spring, we ended up planting a couple million more corn acres than what was anticipated. And that's happened at a couple of different times. And so June 30th, I would circle that date on your calendar. June 30 is when we get the final planted acreage report. Now, even after that, USDA in September, and then again next winter can always come back and readjust these numbers. So these are not set in stone by any means. Just wanted to tell you that up front. So I'm going to run through the slide deck that USDA puts out. They put some fantastic charts out. And the one thing that really stands out to me this year are total acres, principal crop acres. They're expecting us to be down 6.3 million acres this year, which I think is astounding considering these are intentions, right? We don't even, we haven't had weather be an issue yet in any place in the country. Haven't had any prevented planting yet. So now last year was extremely high, partly because of high price. We probably planted fence row to fence row and every place that we could plant corn at $6, et cetera. We had a lot of acres get planted. So coming back to earth, not a surprise that we would be down maybe 2 to 3 million, but down 6 million seems like an extreme drop on the intentions numbers. So we'll see again if down the road some of that adjustment comes back into play. Where we're expected to be down, you can see here in the Southwest, certainly the biggest percentage drops, probably because of the dry weather in that part of the country, and maybe and the fires that we've had as well. We've got La Nina expected to creep in, and it's already starting. So maybe that's coming into play. I don't know. Somebody down there could tell me better than I could maybe guess. But throughout the whole country, acres expected to be down for the most part this year, which again, maybe it's because of price having something to do with that. So let's start out with corn. Corn was the market with the biggest surprise. USDA came in just over 90 million acres of corn, down 4.6 from last year, about 1.7 below the average trade guess. And when you look at where that number came in, I think there was only one other guess down at 90 million acres. Everybody in the trade was above that number. My number was at 92 million. I'm still going to stand by that. I still think USDA is too low on its number. We'll see down the road, but I still think that we got a lot of field work done in much of the country last year to plant corn, and I still think the intentions are really better than what they're posting. So we'll see what happens. But if you look at by state, this gives you the breakdown, and it's not a surprise to me to see the southern tier states be down. Certainly cotton acres should be up a little bit. Soybean acres should be up a little bit in those states due to price. But even up through the Corn Belt, they're figuring that through the heart of the Corn Belt, these corn acres are going to be down. Indiana and Ohio, which had record yields this year, expected to drop significantly. And I guess I'll believe it when we see it, but that's the numbers that USDA is putting out here this morning. Soybean acres expected to be up almost 3 million acres to 86.5 million. That is exactly what the trade had pegged bean acres to be at this year. And you can see versus expectations right in the middle of what the trade analysts were putting out. By the way, my number, I think, was 85.5 million. So I was down towards the lower end. I didn't think we'd see as big a switch from beans or from corn to beans. And when you look at acres by state, North Dakota is one of the big ones, which I expected this year. Because of the 2 new soybean crushing facilities coming online, but you can see some of the other areas as well. Kentucky, they're showing a record acreage number of soybeans. So again, we'll see if these end up happening. Cotton acres expected to rise about 500,000 to 10.7 million acres. Not a huge jump in the big picture of things. And when you look at, we don't have as many people estimating cotton acres, but 10.7 kind of falling right in the middle of the range, maybe towards the lower half. And when you look at by state, again, those states with big shifts away from corn, some of that acreage going to soybeans, some of that acreage expected to go to cotton here this year. Winter wheat acres, which we've already seen winter wheat seedings this winter, but winter wheat seedings down 2.6 million acres this year. Again, back in December and again here this month at the lower end of trade estimates. Apparently USDA continues to insist that we didn't seed as much winter wheat as even what some of the traders think we did. When you look at by state, it's almost unanimous everywhere that grows winter wheat expected to be down significantly here this year. Spring wheat acres, other spring wheat besides Durham, expected to see a slight increase, which not a surprise to me that we would maybe take some of the corn acres, say in North Dakota, flip a few of those into spring wheat. That acreage number actually at the high end of trade expectations. And again, I'm not sure that that should be a surprise. When you look at by state, actually North Dakota down a little bit, but big jumps in South Dakota and Minnesota expected this year percentage-wise. Durham acres expected to jump significantly this year to just over 2 million acres. And that was way high. And that's why you're seeing, I think, the Minneapolis market trading down today while Chicago wheat following what the corn market's doing. But you can see in North Dakota, Montana, acreage expected to jump over 20% this year. So that's the acreage report. We're trading corn higher today. Everything else pretty blah. The other report we had this morning was the stocks report, and March 1 grain stocks on corn are up 13% from a year ago. That's this gray line right here. We'll have the highest March corn stocks since back in 2018-19. You can see total supply of corn this year at 16.7 billion bushels, the highest it's been since the 17-18 year. So this is what's been weighing on the corn market all winter. This is why the funds have been record short corn at one time. That said, this stock number today was actually slightly less than what the trade was expecting to see. So not only did we see a bullish surprise in acreage, we also saw a mildly friendly stocks report number. We'll see if that shows up in the April supply demand numbers, possibly an increased feed usage here over the winter months. In soybeans, stocks are up 9% on March 1st, which is 9% higher than last year. Overall supply of beans is down, but we know that demand was cut this year as well. And so we'll see how USDA incorporates that into their balance sheet. This stock number was slightly higher than what the trade was expecting to see, and it is weighing a little bit on the bean market. Wheat stocks at 1.09 billion bushels of wheat. That's the highest we've been in 3 years, up 16%. That's a bigger jump than expected. I didn't see the breakdown of that wheat, but my guess is that it's going to be in hard wheat, not in soft wheat, based on what the market's reaction was here this morning. So that's really it. Those are the numbers. It's all behind us now. We'll get in 2 weeks, we'll get USDA's next supply demand report. We'll see if they make any shift to some of these supply demand numbers based on these stocks numbers. We will not get 2024-25 balance sheets yet. I believe that's in May, I think, when the USDA will put out its first balance sheets. with those numbers in it. That said, I will include my ending stocks matrices for corn and soybeans updated with the USDA acreage numbers in my email this afternoon. So check out the market report to see some of those hard numbers. If you want to look at these charts that I just showed you, I'll include that PDF as well with this thinking cap video. So again, hope you have a great long weekend. Markets are closed on Friday. Have a very, very happy Easter, and we'll talk to you again probably next week sometime. Take care.